Hello, everybody.
Hello, everybody. We're back. Happy New Year to you all.
Woo! It's 2021, and it
The
kind
year
of
of the Direchasm has begun. And so
pretty
far,
much
2021 has put the dire in Direchasm for many of us.
Yes, it has. Do let me know if there are any audio issues. Obviously, it's been a month since we've done stuff.
Yeah.
So all manner of shit could have stopped working without me actually having
Absolutely. And of
touched
course,
any of it.
you've got to contend with the fact that I was brilliant when we were doing it, when I was doing it solo.
Everyone seemed to love it.
Yeah. Pete has a green screen. He does. He does have a green screen. Yeah. He's fab on my. Oh, it's quite funny on my Skype. On my Skype thing, which doesn't seem to be on the YouTube, but on the Skype, my Skype version, I can see it. He looks like he's been eating green ready brick. He's got this green outline around. He's behind his ears.
I think it's kind of a bit like that on the stream version as well. I need a bit of background to put behind this, but I just didn't have the time to actually find a bit of background to put behind this, basically.
Right. I could get one of those things, but it's in my dining room, and it would just be really annoying taking it on and off. So
it's actually really quick to put
Is
down.
it? Okay.
It kind of it's like made of that.
Oh no. Sorry.
It's sort of yeah, just one brick and bam, done. No, it's like made of that material that you get those cheap tents out of. So it kind of, once you fold it the right way, it just sort of folds down straight away. So
Okay. Well, perhaps I should give it a go. Robin, I've got mine on too. I've chosen a dining room background. I have with total array of sort of American posters.
as Matt says, quick to pull out, not my motto. Oh dear. Hello everybody. It's good to be back. I think I didn't have the same level of kind of feeling tonight as I had done towards the end of last year. I don't know about you.
I've actually, I don't know I don't even know what day it is anymore. Or I guess it must be Tuesday, about 9:30. But yeah, it's been a bit of a struggle adjusting to life staying exactly the same. It's like the same it has been for the last week, but with no Christmas lights or present. Sort of month rather, not the last week.
I think Christmas decorations should stay up throughout January.
Well, actually, I don't know if I can show you or not. Probably not. We've actually in our garden. We've still got. I don't know if you can see that or not. We've still got. We've still got. Oh, wait. There you go. Look, we've still got our Christmas lights out of the Christmas tree. No, it's not a Christmas tree. Out of the tree out there. Because. Because we thought we'd leave much of Candlemas, which is today, which is my wife's birthday. So
all right,
yeah, we thought we'd give that a go. So it's rather nice. It's keeping us cheerful.
As Matt says, he's been there. Yes, that's the place to go. The garage, freezing cold, and all the rest of it.
John's feeling a bit of the lurgy at the moment as well, isn't he? So I hope you're feeling better, John. Or not feeling better, but I hope you're doing okay. I know you're not going to feel better straight away, such is the nature of the beast.
Yeah, bit of a touch of the Ronas.
Yeah.
Don't worry, if you're anything like me, you go through Christmas and you end up like over half a stone lighter. I mean, that was fantastic.
Well, actually, we're both looking quite slim, I think on this. That green screen suits you, Pete.
I've just sort of squashed the frame.
Painted the sides of your face green.
So we've got 31 people in tonight already, and it's fantastic. Who have we got who've already shouted in the chat? We've got Rosa, we've got Craig Sargent, we've got Mr. Collins, we've got Andrew Marlowe, Timothy Greaves, Daniel Bungay, Wolfman Gaz, some weirdo called Robin, Wolfman Gaz again, Timothy Greaves again, Mega Laws is here, Street Pass Liverpool says evening, No Beef Just Party, we have Mr. Morph, Jonathan Hollick, who I think is one of a newer poster. Jonathan, I don't think you posted very much, so it's good to see you on board as well. Ed Hilar as well, hello. Will Palash, another newer name. I don't remember seeing you before, Will, so welcome aboard. Russell Balam. I think I've got everybody. Peter Vanden Bosch, almost missed you out. Real Decos. Excellent. Lots of. I don't know if it's just because it's been a month.
Not much
and
going
my brain's...
Yeah.
Could be.
I thought you said
awesome
Jimmy Greaves.
Everybody.
In the middle of that. I thought, wow.
Jimmy Greaves
is fantastic. We missed John. You missed John. You got your own personal shout out already, John. So I think
you already had it. Yeah. Can't have it twice.
We probably when you were coughing there. That's probably when Pete mentioned you anyway.
Yeah, it was actually. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. So I hope everybody has had a good break. It's been the better part of a month since we've actually been online as a duo, I think.
I think so. I think it was the 15th I did on my own of December. So it is pretty much a month since we've done anything.
Yeah. And what has happened in that month? Well, not a lot, as it seems, for the most part.
Christmas time, mistletoe and wine. I was I had a few ideas of things I was going to do, all geared up for the new year, and then I knew only 1/3 of my children was going to go back to school, but then none of them went back, and I've been teaching them instead of implementing my millions of ideas. Pete knows I always have millions of ideas, things I want to do, but instead of implementing none of them, I've implemented none of them even faster than usual, Pete.
It was the minute the government basically said, you know what, everyone's in lockdown and all the schools are staying. Or I think to start with, old Bojo was like, oh, the schools are going to go back, something about Latin, blah, 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 blah. And everyone's sitting there going, no, they're fucking not, you blonde twazzock. And then there was like a day where some schools went back for a day, and then they went, no, everyone should go home. It'd be silly to go to school.
Yeah.
So, yes.
Yeah, I did. I read that he was basically, it was just him holding out, and everybody was sort of saying, you need to close the schools, and he held out until just after the last minute.
It was, yeah, as typical UK government fashion. They just kept saying no until the iceberg was hit, and then they went, don't go near the iceberg. No, we don't want to do that. Oh, we've already hit it, shit. But, so Direchasm landed. Who out there has actually managed to play some games of Direchasm? We got our first game in last week.
We did, and it was fun. I'd forgotten how much fun Underworlds was in the intervening period. And of course there was a big Vassal clash.
A Vassal clash.
And there's been a straight out Shadespire as well, hasn't there? So there's lots of people who've been playing games.
I think we are definitely miles behind on playing games when it comes to the majority of the content providers out there right now.
Well, I don't know that there's much. Maybe my YouTube algorithm isn't telling me what's out there, but I don't think there's been much content out there. But I know all the players have been playing, because players.
Yeah,
play,
sorry. Yeah,
and obviously
players do play
under the weather, but we haven't been able to play.
Yeah, I think I'm looking forward to get some more games in. I don't know about you, Robin, but I found that first game, I mean, obviously we had the new version of TTS, and it was TTS, so we had to get to grips with all that again. But I found overall, I enjoyed the game, and the biggest problem I have with the game right now is finding time to make decks to play the game with.
Yeah, and yes, and it's not just making decks; it's making innovative decks as well that work. That's the difficult bit, and I know lots of people play. In fact, really, it ought to be easier, because it ought to be easier to get a TTS game in and practice with other people, but it doesn't seem to work that way. My only concern really for the game at the moment is, I was going to talk about this later, but I might as well mention it now. The Voltron Monologue seems to be back from the discussions and the kind of results and things, although my Armies Purifiers have been doing well too. I'm a little bit worried that the Arena Mortis cards, more than the new Direchasm cards, have skewed that meta back towards some sort of, not even necessarily Monologue, but just some sort of hulking monster with 9 upgrades on them.
Yeah, I do worry that aggro is back in a big way, and people like Monologue will start to create that schism that Monologue does.
Yeah. Apparently, Grit Games have done a couple of games, but they didn't play the game properly, which is,
I mean,
it's easy to make mistakes, but I haven't seen it,
especially when you record it.
But Ruel, of course, said he's so wrong. They stopped watching after 5 minutes in the game. So hopefully we're not that bad as he's here.
No, I think. I mean, I do not envy Ash at all. Well, I do envy him a lot. I wish I had his job. Yeah, frankly, I don't envy him trying to play a different game every day, because he plays like Titanicus one day and then AOS the next.
That would be awful to have to play and make money out of playing games. That just sounds terrible.
All right. Why don't you take all my words and twist them?
Bad objective placement. Let's not get hasty about criticising bad objective placement.
Yeah,
Huge rules mistakes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, maybe rules mistakes. 1 crit death beating crit success in attacking roll. I mean, it's a tie. Crit death beats crit success in that it's a failed attack. Or did you mean something else?
His videos.
But he does get a lot of views on his videos. He's got a big fan base. I think that's the problem where you've got to then decide as a content creator, do you want to be a jack of all trades? In which case you are just, because of the nature of GW games, that you're just going to make mistakes at points, and it's a question of how understanding your followers are. Or do you just stick to 1 or 2 games and hope that they're popular and that they get you enough of a following?
Yeah, well, I guess he does a mixture of both. So I guess he has popular threads that he plays a lot, and then he just throws in the odd game here and there of Underworlds and what have you. So I think it probably,
yeah.
If you've got the time, then why not? I mean, I'd love to play even 3 games a week and record and edit those. It'd be brilliant.
And GW make mistakes in writing their rules as well, as Matt's pointed out, which is very true.
Yeah. Quite like the deck building article on White Dwarf 458 from John Brackham, a Wormsback deck focusing on the quarry keyword. Oh, I haven't seen that. We don't get White Dwarf anymore. It would be interesting. Quarry deck. There's a few quarry decks knocking around. I know Andrew was trying to make one.
So is that a quarry deck which focuses on you becoming quarries and profiting off of that? I wonder.
I'm guessing so, yeah, because there's so many good things you can do with quarry, aren't there?
That is true. I mean, my Armies have quite a nice card that does punish quarries. That spell, which does 1 damage or 2 damage if you're a quarry, that's quite a nice spell, and I like the idea of being a quarry having a downside, because right now there isn't really much at all.
Quarry vulnerabilities counteracted by Nurgle resilience.
I don't think there's many quarry vulnerabilities, though. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. We had this problem back in Beastgrave, and we talked about it, that quarries just don't seem to have very many downsides to them for the positives that you get.
No, there's some crazy cards. I guess it's now some of the better ones are restricted now, aren't they? So that means they're perhaps less good. But even so, there are still lots of really good cards with quarry written on them.
I do overall. I mean, my first impressions of playing, Direchasm. My first impressions were it's pretty much smells and feels and tastes like beastgrave still. I like so far. I'm not too bothered by the changes with the primacy token. I don't think that's going to be a massive game changer. But I like the fact that it gives you that little extra sort of thing to think about of, do I attack this person and maybe kill them outright and get the primacy token, or do I go for this other person who's already injured who isn't going to get me the primacy token, but maybe they'll get me that objective or something like that?
Yes. Yeah, I mean, somebody was saying on the ground, I don't know if it was the Clash this weekend or just general game, the primacy token made it. They won because of the primacy token, so they won by 1 glory against an objective holding deck, and they got the 2 or 3 glory from winning that each round, and each game was like 1 or 2 glory in it. So the primacy token swung it in their favour, which I think aggro needed. So maybe that's well balanced. It's a very small piece of anecdotal evidence, but maybe it's the balance needed.
Craig Sargent says that he likes the support change. It speeds the game up slightly. I agree with that. There's no trying to work things out and then do the maths on it. I
really like it.
Similar in Blood Bowl.
We've only played 1 game, but it really, and particularly I think Purifiers benefit from it because they inspire on successes, and you've obviously got more chance of successes. But it makes supports meaningful and just increases that feeling that you're by loading the attack, you're actually doing something. And I like the idea of the way. I like the idea of how it works and makes you. Yeah. I don't know. It just makes that dice roll a bit more meaningful when you've got supports, which is really nice.
Yeah, and I think you can start to make from a GW game design perspective, they can start to make things better when there are successes, because then those things will you're going to get more successes overall as a result of that.
Yeah.
John Grant asks, how do supports work now? Well, basically, you total up how many supporters you have. If you have one, then you count single assist. If you have two or more, you count the double assist as well. And your opponent does the same for defense. There's no who has the most and do you have one or more or two or more or anything like that.
There's no cancelling out, as Matt puts it. So they don't cancel out, which is really good. So I mean, particularly for Mari, who inspires on supports, basically supports always counters, no matter how many other supporting wise your defender has. They always count as successes for if you've got a supporting fighter, which is really good. Must make things for good things. For I don't know if there are any. A few support cards left, aren't there? Rippers has got a few cards.
There's a Gits one, isn't there? Is there some Gits specific ones where it's like? I'm sure there might be one or two. It might be worth looking.
Yeah.
Paint Battle and Roll is here. Hello, Ed.
Rippers have definitely got one.
Yeah, I like the fact as well that no, they didn't change in nightvault, Matt.
No, it's always been like that.
No, it only changed come Direchasm. I did like the fact that, or I do like the fact that it makes you a bit survivable on defense as well. Because if you single and double assists, obviously aren't impacted by ensnare or cleave, so you might then be able to save yourself with that single or double defense roll, or a single or double assist roll that the shield wouldn't count because your opponent has cleave, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
so
which
that helps.
I often found, because of the prevalence of cleave versus ensnare, it was having shield warbands was more of a liability than having dodge warbands, and so that kind of mitigates that slightly, but giving that extra support possibility. Will said to him the support is real support. First time he explained that to a non-Warhammer board player, support was the most unintuitive part of the whole teaching. It definitely is. I still think it's a bit. The positional play still confuses me sometimes, but that's because I'm an idiot. But I think it is now. It's just so much cleaner. If these people are in this place, you get a support on your dice or two supports. It's much easier to follow.
John Grant, yeah, I think it's a bit of a hangover from Blood Bowl, because in Blood Bowl there was the whole you count all of your players in your opponent's tackle zone,
right,
and then they count all their players in your tackle zone, but you don't count players that are in an opposing team's tackle zone. And that's a complete head fuck.
You've reminded me now why I don't play Blood Bowl.
And I think it was a bit of a hangover from that. And I think GW need to do the same thing. It's just you count everybody who can assist you, and they count everybody who can assist them, and that's how you do it. And just count that rather than trying to work anything else out. I do prefer this way of doing it. And somebody's pointed out Rippers could be rather tasty with all the single and double assists knocking around.
Yeah, I mean they're pretty. They could get pretty brutal anyway, couldn't it? With their cards.
Yeah.
I can't remember any of that combo as rotated out now, because I think like Spirit Bond and things were it's a nightvault card, isn't it? But there are still some really good.
Yeah.
Really some good ones. Warding Companion now is really solid. Which is
I think this kind of thing, this change to the rules is where they've identified this is an area that doesn't make much sense, so we need to do something about it. But also they've gone, you know what, we've made this rule that's trying to be quite realistic, but instead of it being realistic, let's just make it easy to play. And I think games in general are doing that. They're moving away from the whole it's more realistic to have all these modifiers and pluses and minuses to hit rolls and all that kind of stuff. It's just easier to say this is a 4+, a bit like they did with AOS. This weapon hits on a 3+ and wounds on a 4+. There was none of this my strength versus your toughness, which, I mean, us old timers could probably mostly work that table out in our heads because we'd seen it so much. Strength 4, toughness 3, that's a 3+ you want there, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I think overall, for the sake of ease of play, for us old duffers and for new players as well, just saying this weapon hits on a 3, awesome. That makes just makes sense.
Yeah, definitely.
So I think those are the only real changes. Was the primacy stuff they've added in, and the supports is the only really big things they changed.
6 wound fighters. Is it 6 wound fighters? 5 wound?
Yes.
I can't remember if it's 5 or 6. But big wound fighters, you get 2 glory. I think we might have forgotten that in our game last week, by the way.
I don't think it mattered. I don't think anybody had 6 wounds.
Does your big fellow not have that many wounds? I can't remember when he has.
No, he only has 5.
Ah,
My
okay.
big fella's
You,
it's not that
you
big.
didn't put anything on. You didn't put Great Fortitude on him. That's right. And I couldn't remember if we had or not.
Well, I don't want to give it away, but no. So yeah, I definitely enjoy that slight streamlining. I'm not sure there's anything else within Direchasm that they could streamline any further right now. There's nothing else in the game to me that makes me think, God, that could be done simpler, or that is a faff to work out. I can't think of anything off the top of my head. What about everyone watching at home? What's the bit of the rule in Direchasm that you sit and go, God, I always fuck that up. I always get that wrong. Or
Reactions.
Like
Yeah. Craig says reactions in the windows. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
We've talked about that regularly, but yes, I can't believe we didn't think of that. Yes, reaction windows is a nightmare.
That's true. I think that comes down more to the wording on the cards than the game mechanic itself. I think they just need to make the card wordings more explicit. At least I feel, because we do have that lovely flow chart now, which shows things like your reaction after the deal damage step, so you can clearly see in the diagram.
I still think they should cut that number of things down so that you can't do during, or because you can have during, you can have after, you can have during, but before the pushback, during, but after the pushback, but before they're dead, before they're taken off. I think they need to kind of really slim that down, maybe, because it does give them more options for cards. But I just feel like for new players in particular, it's illogical, and they also need to redefine activation after an activation versus after an attack. That's one of my bugbears.
Yeah, I hate that. I hate the fact that they've just made those take the same window up. I think there just needs to be an obvious after action, after activation. 99% of the time it won't make a difference, but for like the doggos and stuff like that, it can make all the difference.
Yeah.
But I think that more... Sorry.
Well, Tim says which reaction goes first. I mean, it's fairly simple. It's slightly counterintuitive, I think, but makes sense from a kind of game balance point of view. The fact that it's the opposing player who gets to react first. I think it's slightly counterintuitive. And it does cause It does cause some issues sometimes, because you're kind of like, when you're attacking, you're like, right, well now I've hit, and now I want to play this reaction, and your opponent's like, well actually you can't, because but I think that kind of breaks the flow of the game, or of the natural order of things. Maybe a stack like in Magic the Gathering, or I don't know what that is. I don't know how that works.
Somebody mentioned further up that they would like to simplify rolling for priority. I don't know why they ever used single and double assists when they could easily have just said crits, hammers, swords. Because they've gone crits, single assists, double assists, but a double assist is better than a single assist. So why do it that way around? Like, what? Just make it crits, hammers, swords.
Crits, hammers, swords. Yeah, well, because you can't use defense dice, then that's why.
Yeah, I guess, but
I think because it comes with the set comes with 8 dice, doesn't it? So if you have one set, you can't use 4 dice. That's why they did it that way. But
okay, but you do get 5 attack dice.
Yeah, but you have to swap them, which I know isn't a big thing, but I think that's why you could basically take 4 each and roll off. I think that's why they did it that way. But they also realised that everybody who plays Warhammer Underworlds has got at least 16 sets of dice, and therefore it's a moot point.
Craig Sarge says stacks and pending actions could make it even more complicated. I know nothing about stacks and pending actions, so I'm not going to say whether it could or couldn't. No. I do think they just need to be a little bit more... I think it's more down to how they word cards, and they just need to be much more uniformed and strict with themselves, and say, okay, when we write cards, we're only going to use before or after. None of this during bollocks, and we're going to make it clearer the steps in the attack sequence, that kind of thing.
I don't even mind during. I don't even mind before, during, and after. That's fine. I can cope with all 3 of those things. Before the attack is obvious, during the attack is obvious, and after it is obvious. But it's when they then break down those things into further subsets, like during the attack action, after the to hit roll is done, but before damage is calculated. That's when it starts to get daft.
There was was it Caltrops? That's a shitty one for that kind of thing. It's like during an attack action that damages the fighter, but before they push them back, if it doesn't push them into a lethal hex, then do what the fucking hell? Just after the damage is done, just do it there.
And there are a few daft interactions where we talked about before, where the bat's flapping over one part of the side of the board stops a fighter reacting. But I don't think there's much they can do about that. there's the bat reaction on the Grimwatch and the Hunter's reflexes reaction could mean that the fighter couldn't push you back or couldn't play pit trap or something, which is utter nonsense. But I don't know if there's any way of getting around that problem.
Yeah, I'm not sure 100%. I mean, some of it, sometimes you have to have that disconnect between, it doesn't make sense that my bat's moving, stop your wolves biting. But it's a bit like the assist thing, it's just for sake of speed.
Yeah.
As long as you have those specific points. But that's where you should have the wolf attack comes after the goblin attack, but isn't after the attack action.
Yeah, I think the wolf attack is a particularly bad point of intersection with their rules change about activation and attacks being the same point.
Tim says he's not seen that card at all. That's because most of the time it's not worth taking unless you know you're playing against the doggos, pretty much.
Yes. Like praise give master after now is before you should check if the fighter is dead. And again, I could see why they've done that. And this is where you think, well, actually, okay, they kind of do need to have these shades of grey, because that's basically to stop you saying, well, the fighter's dead now, so it goes out of action. So that praise give mask is no longer in play. So you can't put it on me. Whereas, they want whoever, whether you kill them or not, you get the mask. So that it's all to do with this trying to wording and then trying to keep the wording straight so that everybody can interpret it in the same way. Except, of course, the more words they use to do that, the
more complex
it gets, and the more people read different things into it.
Wolfman Gaz has just completely described how the bat's flapping around stop the dog attacks, and it makes sense. It just makes 100% sense. Dog goes to bite him, sees the bat, like, who the fuck?
I did that in a video the other day, and then I made a mistake and had to cut that bit out and didn't redo it. I was really annoyed with myself. I put it right at the end as an outtake. I was really, really annoyed with myself.
I have to say, since getting a puppy, that is 100% true, that you'll be sitting there trying to train them or get them to do something, and they'll be really focused on something. Anything will happen. A noise, a dog will bark 6 miles away, someone will shut a car door, and the dog's like, what was that? What was that?
You should say that. That sounds like my son today when I was trying to teach him. Basically, we've been going a week now, and the grace period has worn off. He is no longer interested in listening to what the fuck I have to say about whatever it is we're talking about.
Yeah.
So I found myself a lot saying, would you say that to your teacher? If your teacher said that to you, I ask you this. No, you would not.
Yep, very familiar with that. Did everybody hear that? Robin swore. just want that on the record. Robin swore. Just saying.
That just shows how strongly I feel about it.
It is true, though. It's true. My wife's got the same problem with our youngest at the minute. And the other problem she has is he's got zero focus. So he'll have a piece of work. They've talked it through. She's like, right, now I want you to write the answer to that question. Then she'll get up to walk into the kitchen to make tea and like turn around. He's like standing there.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
Go and sit down. He hasn't got a reason for being there. It's not like he said you called me or anything like that. He's just I'm here now. That's where I am.
Yeah, or
go back and sit down.
My son would have drawn a picture of a stormtrooper instead of doing RE or wherever it was we were trying to do. It's like, well, that's great, but why have you done that? Oh, I felt like it. Okay.
But that's not triangles and angles that we've been doing, is it?
Yeah, that is pretty much it. And then the other thing, Master, this may actually be a thing I need to get investigated. He will maths. He's quite good at maths. So all my boys are quite good at maths. But my youngest, well, I don't know whether I can't work out because he's a bit sly. My youngest can't work out whether he's taking the piss out of me. But you will go through maths and he'll be like doing his yesterday we're doing the 6 times table and he's really quite good at it. And then today the first question was like a recap thing. It was like, what is 2 times 6? And he's like, 8. I just don't know. It's like yesterday you knew this perfectly. What are you doing? And I'm like, and I don't want to say stop lying, you little brat, in case there is some sort of kind of cognitive dissonance there. But yeah, and he does that to me on a semi-regular basis. And the longer lockdown and homeschooling goes on, the more he does it. But anyway.
and the less sane you feel as a result.
Admittedly, stormtroopers are more factual. Yes, I have that feeling too, VJ, because my kids go to a Catholic school and I'm very much not Catholic. Indeed. I'm actually on a board of governors at our kids' school, and they had to go and find me a different. You have to kind of pledge your, you'll do a good job, but it's normally done in prayer form. And they'd had to go and find me in my own one because I said, I'm not saying that I'll do that in the name of God. And they're like, oh, that hasn't happened before.
Well, I don't know what we're going to do now, mate, Margaret.
It was quite funny. But yeah, so RE is quite hysterical with me teaching.
Did you just bring in a copy of Terry Pratchett's thing and say you'll swear on blind eye?
I should have done, shouldn't I?
Because it amounts to the same thing. It's a bit like it's a bit like we have some women who I work with, and when I was in the office, they talked about star signs a lot, and one of them said to me one day, "Which star sign are you?" And I said T-Rex. She said, "That's not real." I said, "None of them are."
Love it.
Just God's sakes. But anyway, let's get back to less potentially inflammatory subjects. So, do we give them the news, the terrible, terrible news, Robin, that we finally got this afternoon about a tournament?
Yes, if you like. It's just that we're going to be representing Great Britain at the Olympics in Greco-Roman wrestling.
A bit like
that one.
I'm all greased up, ready. Has anybody seen the episode? What's that film with Hardy in where he plays the crazy English prisoner? What's that called? What's his name? Somebody's going to put it in the comments in a minute. God, I can't remember what it's called now. Anyway, it's the moment's past. But yes, we've got some bad news about Bronson. That's it. Thank you very much, Bronson. There's a bit in that where he's got someone in a cell and the police are outside banging on the door, and he's getting ready. He's found some butter that he's rubbing butter all over himself. The bloke's like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Putting my fucking war paint on, ain't I?" So he's getting this bloke to rub his back with butter so that when the police come in, they can't grab hold of him properly, and he just starts kicking the crap out of everybody. It's just one of those moments in the film.
You can't say there is bad news and immediately go off topic. There isn't bad news. I don't know why Pete's pitched it this way. Quite excitingly, really. Pete and I, we're not taking part, but we're going to commentate on the next Straight Out of Shadespire tournament.
Woo! I was going to go with the long lines of the terrible news is that they're going to have us rank amateurs doing the commentating. That's rubbish. So we are going to be. So sign up, and you can have a game terribly commentated by us. Yes, we'll be broadcasting the whole thing live.
Yeah.
I'm going to try and work out how to get this on whatever it's called, Streamify or whatever, so I can stream it. So we can stream on YouTube and on Facebook and on Twitch all at the same time. So that's the hope.
Yeah, I'm going to try and find a quiet space in my house where I could be interrupted for 4 hours. Uninterrupted for 4 hours, which could be difficult, and have decent internet connection. When is it?
That's
good point, Matt. It's the 6th of February, is that right?
6th of February, Saturday, from about 1 o'clock Central Time to about 4 o'clock Central Time, GMT. I think is the timings.
Will the matches be posted later? Yeah, I'm assuming that once they're up and running, they'll be there.
It'll be live, so it'll just be like the full thing will be live, like this episode. You'll be able to watch it tomorrow or whatever. So anybody watching this tomorrow or any time before the 6th of February, do go check it out. I will update the description tomorrow morning with a link to the page. It's not TTS or anything like that. It's all webcam based. So you just need a webcam and your decks and stuff like that. And you may be on this channel whilst we watch your game and sit there going, "Oh."
So Alex says, what's the name of the tournament? It's called Straight Out of Shadespire, and it's run by Valentin, who's one of our patrons. This must be getting towards the 10th one or thereabouts.
I think this is the 11th one
monthly, basically during lockdown, and it's a cam game set up, which is why one of the reasons Pete and I have never quite managed to get involved before playing. But we, I don't know how it came about. You arranged it, Pete. Did Valentin invite you, or did you beg him?
He actually approached me.
Wow,
he actually said, "Did we fancy it?" And good on him, because he's asked us on multiple occasions, and we've always said, "Oh, we can't. We've got reasons. We've got family, and life sucks, and we're rubbish." and he's always come back and asked us again and again. And this one, it just clicked. The timing was right.
Basically, our wives are sick of us enough now that they've actually said, yes, just get out, just lock yourself in a room and don't come out for Saturday afternoon. So that's
pretty much.
That's how we're going.
I started off with saying to the wife, would you mind if for 5 hours on Saturday I was not around? She was like, how about the whole week?
5? I only pitched it at 4.
Ah, shit.
Oh, well.
Matt's working, and he's not happy about it, is the feeling I'm getting. MacLeod says, do they accept Warhammer illiterates? I mean, I don't think that anybody is being turned away. If you fancy a bash at it, I say go for it.
It seems like a really fun all levels tournament. I don't think it's taken. It's only best of 1, isn't it? So I don't think it's.
It's just 4 matches.
Yeah.
There is some ranking going on, so Valentin will be sorting the rankings out in between matches. So you're more likely to start playing against people of your ability levels, which isn't, it's not a bad thing. Matt, you should book it off, mate. You should book it off and get on there. It's just a best of 1, like Robin says. You just need the camera, you need a little bit of space to put the boards, and for the most part, that's about it, really. You need your deck, you need to be able to see your dice when you're rolling them. That's going to be about it. It's all being done on Zoom, from what I understand, because Valentin hosts it. He's got an actual account, so you don't need to have a full account. You can just have like one of the free accounts, and that will last you the whole thing.
What cards are they using? Yes, it'll be championship rules.
Yeah, they play championship rules. So if there is a what's it called, a far list or anything like that comes out, that will be applicable. There is a Discord, which I will post in the description tomorrow, so you can go and look that out. There is a Discord you can go to chat about it in advance, and there is you can check it out on underworlds-deckers.com. It's all on there as well, but we will post details.
That's on Discord now. I don't know whether that I don't know enough. It's run on Discord, I think, but
the actual games are all done on Zoom.
Oh, okay, still. Fair enough.
But there is a Discord there with all the information.
Okay. Well, I know nothing, so I'm not. I'll keep quiet. It's too late.
I only know it because Valentin was literally messaging me earlier.
Yeah, okay.
So I will be sharing the information.
Brilliant.
I think someone further up said that they've only got 14 so far, but he's only hit 16 at most, I think. So
I think it means the likes. I think John, that was in reference. He said, "Get the thumbs up." Only 14 so far, and we're actually 15. So somebody listen to you, John. But yes, do as old Joe Wick says, do give us a virtual high five by spamming that like button.
It's going
up.
We need to try and time. Other way.
I'm looking at my phone, my thing over here. That's why I'm going.
Oh, for God's sakes! Dear. So yes, we will be doing that February the 6th. If you won't be around at the time to watch it, obviously it'll be online forever and ever anyway. But it'd be great to get people on.
unless we make artists of ourselves, and then we'll take it down. No, we won't.
To be fair, we've not done that before, so yeah, exactly. We haven't stopped yet. Why start now?
Can you unlike for the Joe Wicks reference? He does I'm assuming that's your nutting, your nut in, rather than whatever your nutting is, which I don't want to know about.
Doing his nutting.
I'm afraid you can't. No, you can't unlike for that because he is our Lord and our Saviour. He's even got. If he wore sandals, he'd be there, wouldn't
he? But he's got the hair for it. That's for sure.
Yeah.
And he's ripped like all those pictures of those weirdly white Caucasian Jesuses that we keep seeing.
Nathan says, "Why can't they stay action window on the card?" Ooh. So, that could work.
Oh, yeah.
That could actually work, couldn't it? Like a keybird, they could actually just put which action window it takes part in.
Are we going back to proper talks about stuff again?
Yeah, Nathan's fed up. Burbling.
That would. The only problem you have with that is it takes 2 seasons to apply it fully, because you always have the previous season cards where there's that. You have all those wonky cards that obviously don't.
But they could do it.
Yeah, you definitely could.
Ross has now got Joe Wicks as Jesus stuck in his head. Well, I suppose it's better than having him on his nuts, or whatever you said. Yeah.
Whatever helps you nut. Whatever helps you nutting, I guess. I tell you what, Joe's not bad. I find him. I actually like watching when I was doing some of my workouts. I actually quite enjoy watching the fact that he sometimes ends up more wrecked than I am.
Yeah.
And he's stopping at points and making it sound like he's about to vomit. Yeah. And I'm like, actually, I'm still going.
That's because he does twice as much as everybody else, because he demonstrates it and chats all the way through. But yes, it is.
That is true. He talks through it, and that is absolutely mind-boggling. And it was probably like the 6th video he's recorded that day. But
Ravel's already got his one destroy one car with one letter swap when he joins Patreon. Yes.
Go on, do it, Sam.
Yes, that's going to be our next Patreon competition. We've still got because we shut Patreon down kinda for December. So the Patreon competition is turning over, which is I can't remember. I've so long, Pete, since we talked about it. What is the prize for this month's Patreon competition?
It is a voucher for an indeterminate amount of money towards versatile terrain. And I'm very frantically just bringing up Discord to look at the December competition so I can tell everybody exactly. It is £30 of versatile terrain vouchers.
There you go. So should you join Patreon, even at the $2 level, you could enter the competition, and then you could win £30 worth of whatever you said, versatile terrain vouchers, and then we'll have another competition in February, which will probably be a new warband potentially. Hopefully, because that new warband will be looming by then.
We'll have the chaos. I'm quite interested to see what the chaos are going to be like.
I'd completely forgotten about them. You know, I did that video for the Wizard Men. I'd completely forgotten that the chaos guys, the Seraphon, the chaos guys were ahead of them. That's right. Somebody pointed out in the comments. I was like, oh yeah, good point. Did they do a similar article? Have I blotted that from my mind for the Ravagers? Are they Ravagers? I just completely blotted it. I forgot all about it.
That's a good point. I remember seeing something about the Ravagers because there was. I think they have.
Maybe perhaps they did, but
they're called like Khadgar's Ravagers or something like that.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to the Lizard Men, but actually, if there's somebody else coming before that, but no announcement this weekend. So hopefully, an announcement on the coming weekend about when they're going to be pre-ordered. There was an article. John says.
There was an article, I'm just looking at it right now. They showed the models off, they showed a few cards. There was the Power Reclaimed, which is if your leader's taken out of action, your caster gets +1 wound, becomes your leader, and gets +1 wizard level, which is not bad. But that was it. They didn't do anything else, I don't think. And then they showed a picture of the Lizard Man, which oddly was the next warband coming after that. So
that's thermal detonator guy.
Yeah. I do wonder because they sort of mentioned that Lizard Man's got that thermal detonator cloud killing device that's supposedly can shut down the beastgrave. I wonder if that's GW's reset button to kill the game off.
You say that like that's news, but I put that in my video, Pete. And I said that they wouldn't. They might, but they wouldn't. They're going to use it to blow a hole in the beastgrave and blow it into another realm.
You reckon?
That's what I reckon. Yeah, it's going to escape out of Gur into a different realm. So season 5 will be in a different realm. That's what I reckon.
I think they need to get it into another realm because I think it's getting a bit dull if they don't move it into a new realm. But I think someone mentioned something about somebody got back into Shadespire from the Beast.
Oh yeah, that was in a novel. Actually, I haven't read the novels for some reason. That Black Library book hasn't crossed my reading pile yet. I'm not sure why that might be, but yeah, apparently I think it was Valentin mentioned it. Apparently, yes, somebody gets back into the Beastgrave. I've just seen a little comment there from Elderheart, which is not particularly to do with this comment, but I think it was his friend who won the
Ed Halar.
Ed Halar's friend won the painting stuff, the Redgrass Games painting stuff that we did. I just wanted to give them a shout out because, and I meant to do this before Christmas, but I forgot. My courier lost the prize going to Elderhar's friend, but Redgrass very kindly sent him the prize directly, another one. So it was just really kind of them. Just want to shout them out. So I don't know, people thinking of getting one, Redgrass worth investing in. They certainly seem to be a very friendly and helpful company. I just want to give them a shout out because that kind of customer service ought to be shouted out, I think.
That's really nice.
Yeah, so there they sorted him out.
So did he actually get it in the end as well?
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
awesome.
So I just wanted to give them a little shout out there. We've got a couple of big comments, which is Craig's interesting. We'll circle back to season 1 and make all Shakebar codes valid again. So championship format will be Direchasm and Shaker, and re-release the warbands. Pipe dream.
Yeah.
It would be interesting. They could if they didn't they could rewrite them, and they'd tone them down and not have relics. Be an interesting idea, but they won't do it.
No, they won't.
No.
It's good that he got the. Sorry, I just saw that Edelaris mentioned that he did get it as well. So that's amazing. That's really good. Yeah. That's amazing. And it's also just neatly underlines the whole take out insurance.
Yeah, I didn't take out the insurance. Direspire.
As much as it galls me to take out insurance, I hate that. Like on delivering stuff. Oh, do you want to take insurance? What, in case you lose the thing I'm paying you to not lose? I have to pay. I have to pay more. Are you fucking kidding me? Yeah. Once they have representation of all factions, do you think they'll start looking at slightly more out there warbounds? Do you think they still value the entry, or do you think they still value the entry to AOS too much? I don't think they'll ever go away from whatever's in AOS. Personally, I don't think they'll ever do anything that isn't already an AOS alternative somewhere.
I'd like to think that they would. Yeah, I don't know. I think they might tangentially. They won't go anything like completely bonkers. But as Wolfman says, maybe the odd warband. I reckon they could be the odd thing that's kind of a bit like somebody says rippers. Does that mean is there no? No.
That's a good point. There are no wolf riders anymore.
And there's no wild hunt equivalent, is there?
No, that's true. I'm going to shut the fuck up.
Okay.
What do I fucking know, eh? No, that's a good point. There are no wild hunt equivalents right now, and there are no rippers. So, yeah, there you go.
Yeah, vampires. Yeah, but I think they're going to be a faction, aren't they? They're not going to do vampires and just contain them in the deep Direchasm. They're going to let them out.
They've not mentioned anything anywhere, although somebody posted a picture from the latest White Dwarf which said it had a name in it, and it's the typical GW sort of name, like the I can't remember the fucking words for it now, but they tend to not call their armies like undead. They call them like soul blight or something like that.
Yeah.
And there was a thing about a charnel house or something like that next week, and I wonder if that was like the vampires coming back.
Soul Blight faction is in need of a revamp, and there's the AOS vampires, and that's the AOS vampires. Bone Ostearchs. Yeah, they do have.
There you go. Could be it.
They do have silly names for things, don't they?
Yeah.
as we discussed today. If anybody wants a bit of a laugh, get Jason Newell, one of our patrons, see if you can get onto the subject of lizardmen names.
He doesn't like him.
If you fancy a laugh, it's most entertaining.
Everything
maybe not in our chat,
because he won't stop for a while. That'll wind him up for a good 20 minutes at least.
If during the chat you put in some grammatical mistakes as well, you'd make his day, I think.
Matt says that he's worried that vampires isn't going to be a thing and people will be disappointed. Well, I think every time GW release anything, there is always a large portion of their player base that's disappointed, even if it's what they asked for, because it wasn't exactly how they pitched it in their mind's eye. But I think GW are aware by now that vampires, especially vampire pirates, would definitely make them money, and GW are not above printing money, basically.
Yeah. I mean, it would be really cool if they were isolated in the. They perhaps ought to do that. They isolate them in the Direchasm for a while, and people will buy in. I reckon. So
not a bad idea.
Yeah. Whatever the Charnel Kingdom are. So the Charnel Kingdom is that's the new. Fozzie, what is it?
The next one.
The Charnel Kingdom.
think it was something like that. Yeah.
Hey, it doesn't sound very nice. I don't think I want to go there on my holiday. Go to the Charnel Kingdom this weekend? No, let's not.
No. Don't you remember how everybody got killed last time we went? Oh yes, that wasn't so enjoyable. But everyone thinks it's going to be. Will's just said there that I think a lot of people think it's just going to be Flesh Eater Courts redone. Or
Sounds like Flesh Eater Courts, I have to say. Because
it does kind of.
Charnel is more dead things, isn't it, than vampires, which are kind of undead things, if that makes sense.
Yep. Battle Roll says Charnival. I like that.
Charnival.
The Charnival.
Charnival.
Sorry. That is a good point. Rules just said he can perfectly remember people were asking for Seraphon and then they revealed people like,
That is people. And seems to be particularly Games Workshop fans. I think I actually did that in the Lizardman video that I did. People are like really, really excited about the next thing. And then when they reveal the next thing, they're then excited about the thing after that because people were more excited by the silhouette and the actual reality. I guess because the reality before you have all sorts of ideas about what something's going to be before you actually see what it is, and then when you have what it is, it's collapsed down from an infinite number of possibilities to a singularity, and that's a bit.
Yeah,
I've seen that now.
Yeah, and all the time it's in your head. It's all of the possible things all at once.
Yeah.
But then the minute you see it, like, oh, it's just one of those things which maybe you did actually legitimately think about at one point. But then it also then got merged in with all the other things you were thinking it might be as well. And then suddenly it's none of those other things. It's just the first thing.
Oh, Jason says Charnel just means to do with crypts and tombs. So there you go. So basically saying Crypt Kingdom. So, Charnel done.
I mean, that does sound more like vampires than flesh eaters,
more
doesn't
like
it?
that's more like. I thought Charnel was more. Yeah, okay, interesting. I thought Charnel was more corpses.
Charnelodon.
Yeah.
Somebody mentioned something. I was going to comment on it. Somebody said further up they do seem to be repeating warbands now and again, like Blade Coven and Reavers, and somebody else has also pointed out that Maiaro's Purifiers are like a slightly better or more reliable version of your Thari's Guardians.
Yeah.
I think once you get to a certain point, there's only so many different combinations that you can have. But I like the fact that when they brought out the Blade Cove, and even though I've not ever played a game with them, they did make me feel they were sort of Reavers-esque, but Reavers 2.0. Which I didn't mind.
That's true. Yeah, it's true. I like Will Palish's idea. I'm down with that. I don't think it's going to happen though. Something more urban with normal humans, more band and witch hunters. Can't see it happening. But
that would be cool. But yeah, it won't happen.
No, I would like that
because AOS is all about the fantastic. So
I'd like to see an old world version. Warhammer old Underworld. Warhammer Underworld world. Try saying that.
Older Worlds. Warhammer Older Worlds.
That would be
Older Worlds.
That would be cool if they put it with when they do the old world reboot. If they did a Warhammer Underworld version, that'd be lovely.
Just already rubbing his thighs vigorously.
That would be good.
But then, like we were talking on Discord the other day, like a Warcry version of 40k would be great. But we got Kill Team instead and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, well, there's always that's the other case. We're just as guilty of saying, "Well, we want this, and we've got this."
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that when we've said we want X, we've been given something that's almost X. Exactly. We've been given we've been given ham instead of the green eggs, and it's kind of like when we say we wanted Warcry. Well, we didn't say we wanted Warcry. We said we wanted a quicker to play and set up game, and Warcry is sort of it.
Yeah.
Not quite.
Yeah, we want Kill Team to be Warcry, but we don't actually want it to be like Warcry because we don't like Warcry.
Well, I think if you made Kill Team play like Warcry, that would work. But I think because Warcry is all just... It's nearly all close combat because obviously it's fantasy, so most of it's like, pretty close quarters the whole time. It just ends up a big scrum in the middle. It doesn't work quite as well. But if you made a 40k version of Warcry, I think that would work better. But it gets rid of a lot of that initial army building, which we're both in a similar boat, which neither of us can be fucked.
Yeah, I mean,
to do that.
I like the idea of list building, but I find it now too complicated. And I would. One of the things with Warhammer Underworlds is that you just basically take I know you've got to do your deck building, but you just take your army off the shelf and play it. And you've got to have a deck. But I would like something similar for kill team. Would be great. Buy an army. Each kill team has 12 figures in it, and you choose for different scenarios. You choose a number of miniatures and you play them, and it's basically the same. And there isn't all that complicated. Complicated toing and froing and equipment, and kind of there's less scope for power building. That's what I would like. It's never going to happen. That's what I would like.
No. Yeah, I particularly liked from Warcry the fact that you had the only thing that did bug me was that I think there was something missing, like the names of the fighter types on the cards or something, but you could just literally grab a bunch of cards, and that was nearly all you needed to be able to play the game was those cards. You needed the double and triple score card as well, but that was it. That's all you needed. And I find even the deck creation within Underworlds is almost too much effort sometimes. It's just really just takes a lot.
Yes.
Of time.
If the decks that come with the game were a bit more balanced, I think I could see myself playing that a lot more. I mean, if you could actually get each warband has its own cards now, doesn't it? But they're not very balanced, so some of them are a lot more powerful than the others.
Yeah, a bit like Despoilers versus Grimwatch were, for example.
So if they were more balanced, I could see myself doing that and not bothering with the deck building. But of course, once you start deck building, you can't half deck build. You kind of got to go all in, really.
Yeah. It's either that, or at least we're starting to get to the point now where there are already vassal tournaments being played. So if we are finding ourselves really stuck, we can just grab a vassal deck.
We can. It makes me feel a little bit dirty, though, doing that.
Feeling a little bit dirty, no. There's nothing wrong with that, mate.
That's just,
I do feel the deck building side of Underworlds, and that is a massive part of it. So I'm not saying it's a bad thing, because that's kind of 80% of the game almost in some respect. Not 80, but it's a good half the game, I think.
Yeah.
But I just that's the aspect I find most tiresome of the game. I almost enjoy sitting down with a deck that someone has sent us, and then just literally shuffling the cards and then picking a hand up and going, okay, what the fuck am I going to do?
That is good fun. That is good fun doing that. The only problem with that is that there's always that moment at the bottom of the third round where you think, I don't know what's in the deck. I don't know where to draw because I don't know what's here.
No. But then I found, even when I was at the Grand Clash, I was like that, because I cannot remember, because we don't play very many games with the decks. It's like, I can understand how people like A Man and Co. And Mr. Carlin and that, who, they play dozens and dozens or even hundreds of games with the deck before they go to a clash. So I can understand how they just know, I've got these cards left in there because I've played these cards, but I just never would manage that. So it might as well be a really good deck that I've got a half-assed chance of playing a good game with, even though I don't know what's coming next, versus one of my decks that I don't know what's coming next and is actually shit.
Yes, I do like that. I'll be very careful how I phrase it, but I do like playing with a good deck.
See, Ruel says that what he likes most is spending hours wondering about how to build his deck and see how it works. I don't have hours spare in my month. I've got minutes snatched here and there in between running around, and I wish I had the time to spend hours musing over various cards and what my options and tactics could be, but I just don't have that time.
I struggle these days, curiously, more than I did in the early days, I suppose. Because the early days there were less cards, but I just can't. Nowadays, because maybe it's because the cards are more complex. I can't keep in my head to think about when I'm out and about doing other things. What deck building I might do, I have to do it with Underworlds in front of me, Underworlds DB in front of me.
Oh yeah, I have to have that. Yeah. But even then, I think the game's got more complex as well.
Yeah.
Because there's magic now. There's the hunter quarry mechanic. There's poisons. There's all those various factors which they just weren't there when it was just Shadespire or just Shadespire and Nightfall, that kind of thing.
Yeah. I kind
So
of was trying to build a Blade Coven deck the other day, and I built it, and I just thought, I've absolutely no idea if this is any good or not. I just can't work it out anymore. There's too many things to think about. FIFA. Mark Reynolds thought a set teams with Blood Bowl would be good, kind of like playing FIFA with all players statted. Yeah, I think that'd be pretty cool. Jason's hitting the nail on the head. I spent ages building decks, fine-tuning them for distinct playstyles, and actually using them and finding out they're totally shite. There's nothing better than doing that in the middle of a game, especially when you're recording it and it's going to go out live. Like my Godsworn Hunt deck the other day. Obviously, don't really like. Yeah, it was like, oh, great.
It's soul destroying, isn't it? When you've spent and you actually think you've got something, you think this is a good deck. This will be all right. I think this is great, and you've completely missed a really obvious problem with the deck. I think I had that problem with my Slanesh deck. It wasn't completely game destroying, but it was one of those moments where I thought, oh, I've put in X to do this, and I've put in Y, which relies on me not doing that at all.
Yeah. We also really liked the on-the-spot decision-making of the ability cards of Warcry, depending on the dice pairs of trios you roll. I do like that mechanic, actually. That is one of the things I did like about the game.
Yes, and I liked their roll-off, that whole roll-off mechanic. So you roll 6 dice, and then depending on how many singles you get is who goes first. So there's that constant battle with yourself of, do I want more singles to go first, or do I want more pairs or triples or whatever to actually be able to use some of these really nasty abilities?
Yeah, and there's nothing more frustrating than when you need one thing and then you roll the other. And, I really wanted to go first this time, and now I can't.
Because I've got all of these bloody quadruples. Real says he's got 2 days where he's transporting for 4 hours each way. That does give you a lot of time. That is true.
Yeah.
I just wish there was a I mean, I say a deckless version of Underworlds or something like that, but I think some kind of pre-build version.
Standard
maybe.
decks. Well, standard decks that work. It'd be quite a good project, I think, to actually do. But I haven't got time. Then you'd have to revise it every time they brought out a new card. You'd have to revise it for every warband.
Exactly, and I guess it's kind of done for you in that every time new cards come out, and then there's a new sort of Vassal clash. Yeah. You then have that top 16, so there's some really good decks.
Yeah, except they rely on, it's all right for us, but they rely on having everything. Whereas actually, what somebody said in here, actual straight out of the box balanced decks would be great, because it wouldn't rely on, you could just buy the warband that you wanted for people who aren't chasing the meta all the time.
Yep. Oh, excuse me. Now, there is worth mentioning that we do also have another giveaway that we're doing, sponsored by Willen Games.
I think you can have them there. I've got Willen Games here in this box.
I do. Hello, my name's Willen. Willen Games, another one of our patch readers, is running this at the minute. Willen Games is Willen Games is a company, an online GW, seller, reseller, whatever you want to call it, and they gave us a whole bunch of stuff. Do check the website out; it's really good. The guy who set it up is the Hobby Hermit. You've probably seen him in various Underworld groups. We're giving away 7 packs of the Warband alternate art cards from Beastgrave, and also 7 of these bags, which don't really work very well with the green screen.
7.
It's a shame.
7 bags for 7 brothers. Only you could throw one here. I don't have the green screen. Now that would be seamless. Just say you do it, right? I don't have them, so I can't.
It's sort of like a slightly teal green sort of version of that, and there's 7 drawstring bags. They were limited edition for the pre-orders of the word will come to me in a minute. Nightvault, along with a pack of these dicey dice. Whoa. The frosted dice, which were also limited to pre-orders. So there we go. So we've got 7 sets of those to give away, and all you've got to do to join is you can go onto our Facebook page. There'll be a post on there where we're talking about this. post up a picture of a warband that you've painted, and a little bit about that warband. You know, why it's your favourite, whether it's the first warband you ever did, first warband where you attempted a new technique, or the first time you used contrast paints, maybe, or something like that. Maybe it's one that won you a painting award somewhere, something like that.
Paint Battle Ross says, can you enter one for me? I don't know. Did you paint any of them? I don't know if you did.
And it's worth pointing out that Robin and I won't be just picking the best painted, because that's not how we roll.
Yeah,
we are all about everybody from the top most experts in the fields to the rank amateurs like us. So we'll be picking a selection across the board.
We will. It'll be I've looked through quite a lot of them. I haven't looked through them all yet, but yeah, there's some amazing ones on there. But it's also some just really nice paint jobs, but nice colour schemes as well as excellent paint jobs. If you see what I mean, it's all about all sorts of different criteria will be taken into account, and definitely, Well, I'm looking forward to deciding which warbands win. Got a few comments here. Will says, "Do we have an affiliate that sells in the Americas?" We don't. I don't think. I think it's just too much hassle to try and sort out. He would love to support us with his purchases. No, sadly we don't. Nick Garver gave me he's Hawkhammer. I think he's just started a channel. I think I watched the first one of his Underworlds reports. So welcome to the channel and good luck with that. Is it?
Glava Gaming says, "Is it posted tonight?" Well, I think I posted it a couple of days ago, I think, on Facebook. But you haven't got to post your picture now. It'll be a couple of weeks before we announce all the winners. So you've got a little while yet.
You've got a couple of weeks.
Yeah, you've got a while yet.
Can't take a pic. You have the models. Paint Battle Ross says, "Well, so you say." I don't know what you mean.
I mean, this is all hearsay and conjecture. Edlar says it's great because his painting skills are none. Don't worry, mate. So is ours. So we are certainly not elitist by any stretch.
Milo says, even though we're in Australia, he's not expecting us to post it all the way out there, but I think we are, aren't we? It's worldwide, isn't it?
Yeah, it's worldwide. Yeah. I mean, these are going to be quite small packages, so they're a bit easier to send. Whereas the problem we have is once you get to like any of even like the Nightvault, the Shadespire blocks, it's quite weighty and it's big enough to cost an absolute ton of money. So we end up trying to sort of work out how we can get people the money to buy it in their country instead. Yeah. But yeah, we will be posting worldwide, so don't worry. But do go check out Willing Games as well. Their website is nice and new and posh and shiny, and they got some good deals on there as well. They've got quite a few Nightvault warbands on there still for people who are looking to pick up some of the classics.
Paint back on off to bed.
Nightvault as well.
Time to sleep. That's why he was thinking he'd sent us out warbands, because he was tired. He was just forgetting stuff. Somebody's brought up Brexit. Basically, Brexit's screwed up buying things off the UK because of the fees have gone through the roof. Fucking Brexit.
Yeah, I can see that. Bloody Brexit. I can see the reasoning there, but yeah, that's a valid reason not to.
Well, Glava Gaming can come again. He honestly says that we have inspired him to start a channel.
Very nice. I like that.
Yeah.
I'd like to think that people watch our channel and think, if those two fucking idiots can do it, I can do it. And frankly, good. That's what we intended, really.
JOT is in the building. Hello. Haven't got long left. We've only got 20 minutes left. But...
yeah, you might have to go back and watch it, because we did announce a few exciting little tidbits, Jay. So you might want to go back and watch those after we're finished, and also information about a giveaway. If you don't follow us on Facebook, go check that one out. Yeah. I loved the fact that when we last went to a Grand Clash, which was less than a year ago, but seems like a lifetime ago, I loved meeting people who came up to us, who were like in the top 32 or top 16 in one or two instances, and they were just like, "I love your channel. You're the reason why I got into playing Underworlds or whatever." And we're like, "Awesome."
And now you're better than us.
And now you're fucking amazing, and we're shit still. But I just love the fact that we're meeting people who've sort of said, "You are the reason why and in some cases, some of those crazy people out there, the Italians, came along and they're like, "We just wanted to come meet you." Like, that's a bit mental.
Yeah, it'd be really nice to hopefully later in the year there'll be in-person tournament, and it'd be really nice to meet some people, as many people as possible. Really, it'd be really good.
Edelar says that he loves this channel because of us two. We're the second and third reason why he watches this. Sorry, I did that last bit myself. I mean, I'm hoping that, that we continue, that the channel grows again. It's been a bit of a lull over Christmas, mostly because we haven't been producing stuff and we haven't been able to meet, which is really, really stymieing our progress. But I'm really hoping that by summer, that the lockdowns are over and we can go outside again in the outside places. Yeah. And we might actually be able to go to something and meet people again, and that maybe Agent Con will happen this year.
Agent Con, it's still slated for September. We'll have to see. Matt says he wasn't going to go to the Grand Clash 2, said we would go. It's pretty cool. We should put Bad Games Workshop should put us on the ticket.
I really should. We're responsible for at least like Sigmar. 5 people being there. I mean, how many people did we meet who were just like, it's just awesome. I'm not saying it because I feel like, we're amazing. I just loved meeting people who say they enjoyed watching the channel, because it's just, when you do it like this, we get to chat to people online. And I think doing these weekly live chats has really helped connect with the community. Before that, we would spend a long time on YouTube, shooting videos, putting them on YouTube. Sometimes the only feedback you get would be like, you got this real wrong. And you just think, oh, what's the point? Why bother? But being able to talk to people online and then being able to meet people just made the whole thing worthwhile.
Yeah, well, Rivel, like, I don't know how to pronounce that, because we introduced him to the table part of the game, started on Warhammer Underworlds. Cool. That's really cool. And you're one of the top players, aren't you? I thought you'd do well. That's really nice to know.
That's something I need to get back into as well, because that's something I might be able to fit in a bit more easily around the edges of my life that's become insane and busy at the minute.
I keep thinking I should play more TTS games. It's a little bit time and a little bit my anxiety is the wrong word. It's too strong a word. A little bit kind of my actually, I don't want to put myself through that. It's easier to go and do something else. But actually, I should play.
I could go online and play someone and get my arse kicked.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Or I could just go.
Or I could go and descale the toilet.
It's not like I'm short of stuff to do. That's really what I mean. But I feel like my Underworlds game would probably benefit from playing a few different people. So I ought to do that, but I probably won't. But you never know.
I played a game last year at some point. I can't remember. I think it might have been against Junitin, one of our Patreon supporters again. And I played it on TTS. And I got absolutely smashed in like about 2 rounds. But it was just nice to play a game against somebody. A bit like back when we were at the Grand Clash. It was just nice to suddenly come up against someone who isn't, us two. And you suddenly go, well, Robin never does that. Well, I don't understand what's happening. What's going on? They're moving stuff all in different places on the board.
That experience is, it's good, but also scary.
It is absolutely terrifying. I think, especially once we get to a point where we are allowed back in the outside place again, maybe we should do a few videos about, just going to live events and playing against people to put people's minds at ease. Might be a good thing, because that whole anxiety of meeting people in real life, I think, puts a lot of people off, and probably put us both off for a long time. And eventually we went to the Grand Clash the first time over, what was it, a year before or whatever it was, and we were both like, I have no idea what this is going to be like. And then we came out of it going, that was all right.
Yeah, and then we did it again, and I got utterly trounced again.
Yeah, we went for the games, but we stayed for the people.
Yeah,
I think it's safe to say.
Pretty much it. How do you think about doing a webcam with some of us? Well, webcams I think are out for me. I haven't got the space, but TTS I could probably do a bit more easily.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
that's why we're going to be commentating in the next Straight Outta Shadespire tournament. rather than playing it, because it's, we can do the commentating bit pretty easily from where we sit, but playing the games is much harder.
Yeah, I see myself more as a retired pundit now.
Yeah.
That's right. I used to play in the early seasons, but now he's pulled out. but I'm much more comfortable in that role. I'm a facilitator. I'm a chatter. I'm not a player.
I kind of feel that's where our niche lies, is in doing that kind of thing. It's a bit like, it's not quite Thierry Henry territory, where we were the champions at one point and now we've retired and rest on our laurels.
Yeah.
We never got there, but that just means we take more of the Chuckle Brothers sort of angle of entertainment for it all instead.
I wouldn't mind going to a tournament, Daniel says. I would recommend it if when they start up again, because the Underworlds community is, to a man, I would say, lovely and inclusive, and so I would definitely recommend it. If you can go, and even the big ones, even the Grand Clash, you get the people at the top, sort of 30, 40 people who are really taking it very seriously and got a chance of being in the top 16. But there's a lot of people who just, like us, who they're the only ones they go to because it's kind of a big one and it's an event. So you get people of all standards, and you can normally find Pete and I somewhere near the bottom with them.
Sobbing whilst looking at all the models.
People are higher up the ladder than me, but not by much.
Not by a lot.
Matt says, is there potential for a TTS league? Oh, we are mulling that over, I think, aren't we, Pete? We haven't discussed it actually, but for Patreons, because of the Warhammer Underworlds online, we might have a little break from that and do a TTS one next month. But we need to work it out.
Yeah, definitely. I think Warhammer Underworlds online has some benefits, but I think more people might enjoy playing TTS instead. We might still keep it as a Patreon only thing.
Oh, definitely. I think because it would have to be, otherwise it will get. I'd like to think it'll get unruly. Okay, unwieldy, not unruly. Unwieldy, because I'd like to think lots of people want to play. No, but I think it might happen as a Patreon thing, and that might be my breakout into playing some other people. It's kind of an actual reason to play. If I can put it off, I will. But if I join the league, then I won't be able to.
Yeah, and it's easier if you're playing in a tournament where we're not recording it, because it's just you haven't got to worry about presentation.
Yeah, definitely.
And Matt Collins points out as well, going to Warhammer World, it's a day out, and that is very true.
Yeah, although I think the restaurant has declined since we first went, and I'm a bit disappointed about that, because part of me going was for the curly fries and such like, but my burger wasn't so good the second time I went.
I think, it's really gone downhill at the minute. They haven't served a decent meal in months. But I remember when we went the first time, and it was a 2-day event. In fact, it was a 2-day event both times we went. But we went and we went around the Warhammer World,
around the
displays and stuff that day. I loved the displays. That was lovely.
Yeah,
I loved that.
I remember the first Grand Clash, we were like, they did the wars presentations. Somebody said to us, "Oh, make sure you're in the bar early doors because they'll serve the food and it'll get busy." So we went in there. We missed the rewards presentation because we were ordering our dinner.
I'm not sure we missed a lot. It's not like we were being
called out. No. I felt a bit like a bit of a sore loser, basically just in the bar while everybody else get their prizes. But we were told to get in there quick, so we did. But Matt says that it has changed. Yeah, I really like Bunnings. I think it's great. But the food definitely last time we went was a lot more salty and less nice. Maybe they'll change that. Probably not.
Was the food less salty, or was the food more salty, or was
maybe it was me
more salty?
Maybe it was me. Yeah, I don't think I was too salty after the Godbend debacle. I think the Godsworn Hunt one was a bit more upsetting.
And I think I had more fun the second day actually, because we played against various Patreoners and we just sat in the Bugman's bar and played.
I did really enjoy that. And that's probably what I'd almost rather do than go and play. Having said tournaments are fun, I'd almost rather just play.
I wonder if we'd just be allowed to.
I told you, or to talk to people. Bar. If there was a talking about Warhammer Underworlds competition, I reckon I'd do all right.
I'd love to be able to set up and do we'll get our chance at the Straight Out of Shades bar to try our hand at presenting and seeing if we can do a good job there.
Yeah, that would be good. That'd be really good. I feel like we still need some more Underworlds news to keep these live chats going, because we've basically burbled on as usual. about I don't know what, but maybe next week we'll have the Ravagers. The Ravagers to talk about.
I think we haven't got the Ravagers to talk about. We might have to come up with another subject. So if anybody thinks of anything they want us to talk about, do post it.
Yeah, I guess we can have a look at the Vassal performance and the preponderance of Molog.
Ed Hilar needs to go, but he said thanks for tonight. Thanks, Ed Hilar. Say hello to your friend for us. I'm glad you got that painting tray in the end.
Yeah.
And anybody who's interested in joining Patreon, do check it out. You do get to join our monthly competitions. As we mentioned, this month it's £30 in versatile terrain vouchers, which is not to be sniffed at. Next month it will probably be the latest warband to have been released.
50 minutes battle report, so 20 minutes at the end, I think, for a capacity to win a competition about talking about Warhammer Underworlds. Exactly. Exactly.
Pretty much. Roz says it would do better. Well, I don't know. I am going to have to go and check out some footage to see just, I mean, everything that we've been described, I reckon it should be pretty easy to commentate. So it'll be interesting to see how we manage to cock it up.
Yeah, I think what we lack in expertise and knowledge of the game, we'll make up for in dreadful jokes.
Yep, and just talking shit.
If you want a victim, we just signed up. Mark's just signed up. Excellent.
Excellent.
Everybody.
And there is a Discord, and I will post all of that in the description. So anybody who is on Discord but isn't in that one, there is a Straight Out of Shades by Discord, so you can go on there and chat. So if you haven't joined it yet, you can go on.
Oh, do I need to join that then?
Going on? Maybe.
Yeah, I might have to do that.
Possibly.
Yeah.
It's all about the bants.
I hate that word. Banter's not too bad. Bants I hate. Please don't use it.
I'll try not to, but now you said that you've made it about 100 times more interesting.
Popular opinion is the thing this year. Yes, they should be, and I thought of one the other day, and I thought I must remember that. And can I remember what it is now? Can I? Bollocks.
Miniature games are shit.
Yeah.
Oh, we'll have to start working on those again.
I'm sure I said one the other day. To do with Space Marines or something, but I can't remember. What it was.
Picking on Space Marines, that's a big one to put in your target.
Yeah. Sam says, can we ask what we both do for a living? No. I could tell you, but I'd have to kill you.
Oh no, I've told you. Now I'm going to have to kill you. We lead very dull lives. I'm a test consultant. I work for a life assurance company. I'm a tester. I think some people fell asleep just hearing me talk about that.
Yeah, but I don't have a job. I'm a feckless loafer. I'm a stay-at-home dad.
That's akin to lion tamer in my book, frankly.
Pete's testing.
It's better than Pete's testes.
Racking my brains now for what that unpopular opinion was. So I did think it would annoy Rosa in particular.
Is it Space Marines are shit?
No, it wasn't that. It wasn't that, but I cannot. I was painting just there, and I thought, oh, that's a really good one. I can't remember when it's gone. It's gone. But yeah, we'll bring it back. I should think next week. I should think more carefully about it, and I'll have one for next week. I don't think it was about mould lines. I thought it might have been
mould lines. wasn't about card sleeves. Was it?
It wasn't about card sleeves or mould lines. No.
Ooh.
But it was along those lines. It was something that seems to be controversial. But
one thing I will say is I think GW is starting to go a bit too far with the complexity of their models. There are a lot of people complaining about their Myari models snapping in various places, and I think they need to stop getting quite so ridiculously thin and fiddly with their models. Well, I mean, they look amazing, but
yeah, that kind of has reminded me of something that annoys me, which we've talked about on the Patreon Discord, but I could bring it up as an unpopular opinion. And Gaz says I need to bring I need to get a notebook. I will have to start noting it down. I'll probably use my phone. I'll have to start noting it down. What things? But
use the audio recording notes, so it's nice and quick. You don't need to worry about penning stuff. Note to self: I bloody hate mould lines.
I'm really fed up with massive scenic bases. And like everybody now, like somebody said in the Patreon Discord, which is also true, there's not a massive city base, but everybody kind of has to be jumping off a piece of debris. I've been painting some Marvel Crisis Protocol figures, and they're like jumping off a stupid bit of masonry or something. It's just, it doesn't look particularly good. And then, but I really, because I think it was because when they brought out they revealed that Slanesh model with the palanquin and the things that are dragging it. I don't like them. I mean, they're amazing in themselves, but from a gaming perspective, I don't find them interesting.
Well, there was the Ossiarch Bone one, which is that general standing there with all of these people around. So it just doesn't make sense in real life. It's like, so he walks from over here to over there, but he's still standing on that fucking rock. Has he got a wheelbarrow with it all in?
Yeah. And the Numeneth had similar issues with their massive faces. So I understand that they've now got the technology and they're kind of trying to make the equivalent of Titans for AOS, but I don't like it.
Lizard Queen has said there is such a thing as too much detail, and I think the basis is part of that. Well, there was
sorry, Fuzzy Wuzzy is talking about the painting Marvel Crisis Protocol figures, and I find it with the Star Wars Legion ones. Well, they've got some detail, but it's not so awful that you hate painting it or whatever. So I think there's definitely, certainly if you're not such a great painter, slightly less detail is better, because you haven't got as many places to get into.
Yeah, I think it could almost be a turn off when you look at a model that's insanely detailed, especially for more lower to mid range painters. You're just like, I don't even want to try and think how I'm going to paint that.
No.
Whereas obviously your top end painters, the more detail, the even better. But they could probably paint the detail on if it was just a flat piece of A4 paper. In fact, they quite often do when they have those flat expanses and they paint those insane murals on them and things like that. It looks absolutely brilliant. But yeah, I think they almost go a bit too far sometimes. And I'll agree with you that one of my pet peeves is when people are standing on stuff on their base. It's like, what do they carry that around with them everywhere? Because everywhere they go, they're standing on that same piece of bloody masonry.
But it's like, in Marvel Crisis Protocol, I do like the models. The ones I've been painting recently, they're just like a little explosion of debris with a girder sticking out of it, and the person standing on it. I think I've only painted 4 models, and 3 of them are doing that, I think. And it's just like, it doesn't make any sense. It's like these random beams of metal have fallen down and punctured the ground somehow, or presumably come out of the ground, because the ground is like a protrusion out of the ground rather than something stuck in the ground. It doesn't make sense anyway. And also, Spider-Man can't be permanently jumping off this girder.
Yeah, it's just, it looks amazing as a one-off thing, but the minute you start putting that on a tabletop site, it just kind of just makes no sense.
You sound like the rest of us, cabin fever. Yeah, I can see that. See that. I do.
And why can't they get the package?
I've often had little weird rants about things.
It's a bit like did you ever watch Father of the Bride, where he goes off to the supermarket to get hot dogs, but there's like 8 hot dogs, but 6 hot dogs, but there's 8 buns. He doesn't want to pay for the extra buns, so he's pulling the extra buns out, and Steve Martin going off on one about how the guy at the hot dog company met up with the guy at the hot dog bun company, and it's just this massive rant, because it's obviously he's freaking out about something completely different. But yeah, I get that sometimes where you just end up going on a tangent after a while. You just think, why the fuck do I care? I don't care.
Yeah. I do like Marvel Crisis Protocol. The Miles on newspaper stand, which I do actually like. But it's really dynamic pose. Whereas some of the others are a bit static.
I do like how they did with the 30k Primarchs, where they're standing on a base, and that base goes into a bigger scenic base thing. So you can take them off, and it's just them, and they're standing on a smaller rock or something, and it doesn't look quite so bad. But you can then put them on that.
That makes a bit more sense to me. I quite like that. The kind of presentation base.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think there's one with Gilliman, where he's standing in this sort of area. It looks a bit like a Roman Colosseum bit, but he comes off of that, so it's just him standing on a paved floor, and that makes more sense.
Yeah. I'm going to yawn, which means it's 11 o'clock.
That's your unsubtle yawn. Yawn.
You just sent me a message that said yawn, so I did.
I've got an unpopular opinion. My unpopular opinion is I quite like clear bases.
No.
Because then it makes sense. You don't have this person who's standing on this Arctic tundra on a board which is a bloody jungle, which never looks right to me.
Surely your ideal solution is magnets. An array of bases for every conceivable terrain. Just take them off and magnetise them.
But you just a clear base, you know.
Yeah, I don't mind a clear base, except I couldn't be asked to buy them and change them. But I quite like. Friends don't let friends clear base. I don't have a strong feeling. Having said I don't have a strong feeling, I don't think I've ever seen one in the flesh, as it were. I think I've only ever seen them in pictures.
Green screen the bases. There you go. That's what you need to do. You could have it. You could have like a very thin piece of wire that just comes out of whichever foot's on the floor and then goes into a circle. That way, there's none of that clear base sort of shine that you get from the clear bases. It's just this little metal circle, very thin, almost imperceptible. That'd work. Oh, there you go. That's what you want. And there you go. So yeah, I think the problem that clear bases have is the fact that they shine, and that kind of throws off a bit when they're standing on the tabletops. If you could get one that doesn't shine, or like I've just said, the little piece of wire that just makes the circle, that'd do it. That'd do me.
Oh, I can't believe you passed up the opportunity for magnets.
Well.
There's a slight distortion of the board underneath. Yeah, so that's physics in action there.
It might be a slight distortion, but that's better than a person standing in the middle of a lava field, but also happens to be on a tiny little tundra on his own, an icy wasteland.
Or if they're standing on a tundra on a lava field, I mean, how does that work? Surely it would just melt. He'd fall over.
It's nonsense. There's my unpopular opinion. Clear base.
It's a good one. It's a good one.
That'll throw the cat amongst the pigeons. So there we go. That is our announcements for tonight. There's the Straight Out Shadespire. Do check out. I will update this tomorrow with all the relevant details, and obviously the Willing Games that we've posted up on our Facebook page. Do go check that out and enter that one as well. We'll be doing the giveaway in a couple of weeks' time.
Ooh. Yes, thank you for watching, everybody. Our usual ramble. I've really enjoyed it, but I've missed them. I've missed these Tuesday nights, so it's really nice to get them back, and hopefully we'll get some exciting news about things, and we can keep talking about random shit.
Yeah, basically doing what we do, talking shite. And do check us out on Patreon. Even if you join at the lowest level, you can join in our monthly competitions.
Yep.
You might even be able to get in on our TT if we do a little TTS tournament over there as well.
Yeah.
And all that good stuff, and chat to us every day on Discord.
Ooh, yes.
Day in, day
Love
out.
chatting on Discord. It's brilliant. Oh, Andrew.
I think Blitzbowl.
Haven't seen Andrew comment really. Hello, Andrew.
He's been quiet. He's been lurking tonight.
Yeah.
He was there right at the start.
Oh, yeah.
I did call his name out, I think, right at the start, but that was a while ago now. So.
Cheers, Tim.
So thanks everybody for tuning in. Tim, I'll be playing your deck this week. So anybody, if they've got a Direchasm deck that they want to see shown off, then do get in touch.
Yeah, because I haven't chosen yet.
Ooh.
So that's my job for tomorrow.
So thank you all, and we shall see you all soon. I'm very rapidly trying to find the credits scene here on OBS. Here we go. I've got it. So we're good to say goodbye now.
Whee! We can say goodbye. Hey. It's time to say goodbye.
VJ says, what was I going to say about Blitzbowl? Just we'll try and get some games of that in soon, because it's a bit quicker to play than Underworlds as well. So
on TTS?
Maybe try and get some of that. Yeah,
that'd be fun. Yeah, we can do that.
Still really need to try and find some 3D versions of the models for TTS. I think that would just set it perfectly if we could find those. So
there you go, VJ. Off you go.
Yeah, make it so. It would just finish it off, I think. But yeah. There we go.
All right.
So we'll see you all soon in the Direchasm. Stay safe.
Bye, guys. Bye.